Welcome back. We have another very exciting question here. Let us say we have been given two tables. One table is all about student and their details, in which we have been given student ID, corresponding student name, then email address, and then score. And another table is about his friends, whether the student ID has a friend called as 1155. His ID is student ID is 1155, and another one with the student ID 1152, and likewise. So what we have to do is we have to write down a SQL query with a column with columns student name, number of friends he or she has, and the sum of friends marks if that sum is greater than 100. Basically we have to write down the marks if the total of that sum of the sum of those marks is above 100. Let us jump over to my SQL workbench and see how we'll approach this problem. So here it is. I am in my SQL workbench. First of all, let us go ahead and see how we're gonna create this table. So this script for creating table will be available to you in the description below. You can copy it from there. So let us go ahead and see what this table is all about. We have drop table. First, this will drop all the pre-existing table which is there in database, so that way when we create a new table with same name we don't get any error. So it will drop any table with the name student and another table with his friends, and then we will create the table with name student, and the student table will have columns with column name student ID. It is of integer type. Then student name, it is of variable character of length 20, email address with variable character length 50, and then his or her score, which is also an integer. And then we have all these values, and then we will go ahead and create this table, which is his friends. Table's name is his friends, and we have only two column here, which is student ID and his friends ID. Both of these are of type integer, and then we have all these values here. So let us go ahead and first check me that both these tables are working perfectly, and I'll just go ahead and select everything from student table. Here it is, student ID, exactly what we have just seen in the slides before. And then I'll also select everything from his friends table as well. Here it is. Right. So what we have to do first is I will try to create a table with columns student name, and then his score, and then his friend's name, and then friend score. I want all these details first in my table. I'm just going to create this table with all these details. So what I'll do is I will just take first uh, table student, and I just don't want to call student as student every time. Just call this, I will just put an alias and call this s, and I will just join this using his friends table, and I'll call this as f, and I'll join this using s dot student id. This will be equal to f dot student id. So what I have done this, I joined student and his friends, and I joined using student id command, right? But I am gonna go further and join student id table again. Let me show you why. I will just do student id, and this time I am taking as another table, and I will call this as s1. Okay, so I'm taking the same table, but I'm copying it in a different alias, and I'm calling that alias as s1, and I'm joining this on f dot his friends id, and this will be equal to s1 dot student id. So remember that his friend's id is actually equal to the student id in our student table. Why? Because his friend is also an student. Okay, and he also has these ids which is similar to student id. So let me just go ahead and now adjust all these things. Okay, so I will call this as select, and I am taking student name from table S. Okay, and I am taking the score of the same student. So again I will call this as dot from student table, right? And then I'll just put a friend's name as s1 dot, and I will say student name, and because this is the name of his friends, right? So I'll just put this as s. So what it has done is it has taken student name, then a score, and then I am taken student name from table s1, because remember we are assuming that his friends is also a student and that student's name is the name of his friends, right? So and lastly I will just take score, and friend score will also take from friends id. So this will be s1 score as friend score. I will just try to run this and see whether it works. Okay, I also have to take student id, so that will be more convenient for us. So let us call this as s dot student underscore id. Here it is. Now let us go ahead and run this. So if I run this, here it is. We have got the required table in which we have student id, student name, score, friend's name, and then friend score. Okay, let us put this in a table. I will put this in CTE. Okay, and using that this table now, I'm just trying to create what is required for us. For this, I will say that first of all, I need student ID, right? Now, this table is everything for us. Using this table, I have to calculate all my terms which is required in our question. Okay, so this will be student name, and I will say first I will say that I'm taking this from CTE, and then I'll say that I'm doing a group by using student ID. Within student ID I'm doing another group by with student name, and I'm just saying that this should have sum of friend score greater than 100. And now I'll select what is required for us: student ID, student name, and then we need number of friends. So I'll do is count one, how many times the name has id has appeared. So this will have number of friends, right? Because if you are counting, so if you are counting from here, for example, Erling has a friend Wayne, then Erling also appears again because he has a friend Sanath as well. And similarly, Ram has friend Saeed, then has also a friend called as Sanath, and Ram has also a friend called as Thomas. So all this is getting repeated, right? I have already done group by using student ID. So I'm just counting how many times this Ram has appeared, how many times Erling has appeared, and those will be the number of friends. After doing this, I'm filtering out using the sum of friend score. It has to be above 100. So when Ram has this, I will just sum this up: 45 plus 68 and then 58. Remember, we also have to display the total score of the friend, right? So I'll just put sum, and I'll say friend score as total score. So I'm just gonna go and run this. Here it is. So we just saw that Ram has 3 friends and their total score is 171. Similarly, Sanath has 2 friends and their total score is 103. and rest of them they have friends but their total score is less than 100, which is not asked in our question. So this is it for this question. Hope you like this video, and if you did, please go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. I'll see you next time.